So a couple different ways to reflect back at the question of what is the key insight from the conference. My kind of initial attempt is trying to analyze and find patterns, but I'm going to intentionally not do that because I think there's an unsaid tone or a quality that is kind of hidden, and I can only sense it, but it's not explicitly articulated by the people. And if I want to put a word on that quality, I would actually say it's intimacy. Right? And the reason why I say that is one of the talks that really made an impression on me is, I think her name is Kiga. I'm probably pronouncing her name really horribly. So typically when we think about design, we say things like systems and all these wonderful things, but I think there's a very subtle nuance between systems and whole. Right, which is what I got out of her talk, because she talked about systems, but when we think of systems, we think of like parts and how they're connected, right? But I don't think that's what she was talking about. She was talking about the overall impression in one, not dissecting stuff. So that idea of wholeness is, at a human level, is kind of the intimacy that you feel with somebody. Like when you're with somebody, you know how in the movie, what's that movie with Jerry Maguire? Bridget Jones looks at Tom Cruise and says, "You complete me," right? That sounds like a cheesy line, but there's a quality of you feeling whole when you're with someone. It's not because there's you and there's me and have a connection. No, it's like it's something else. It's impalpable. It's a quality that you feel. And it's very similar to, I think, what she was talking about. And I forget if it was the same person or somebody else, in the same breath mentioned baking, craft. That's also a level of intimacy. Like you're touching the material, you understand the material, you're thinking like the material, and you're making in a very intimate way. Very different from working on the computer and sending it off to a printer and somebody else over there prints it out. The lack of intimacy happens there, right? So there is that quality that's hard to explicitly articulate, but throughout all the talks, even the one that Dennis just gave about radical empathy, intimacy, there's that idea that's missing, but it's not an idea, it's a quality. And that's probably what I'll take away most from this conference. I hope that makes sense.